Yep. It is Overreaction Monday. We go into the Super Bowl, at least this Monday. It's just Overreaction Monday. Y'all don't pay me no mind on that. But the Dallas Cowboys had a great victory, and we're going to enjoy and celebrate it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. In case you haven't been, hit that notification bell. And in case you didn't know it, yes, we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. Great show today. Going to be a short show today. Got a couple things to take care of. Monday Night Football. I don't know. Thought I saw something. Is there a double header or something like that tonight? Nevertheless, we're going to talk for about an hour and a half, maybe two. And we are going to talk about Overreaction Monday. And I don't even know if it's an overreaction. The Cowboys looked good. The Cowboys looked incredible. They looked great. The defense is not fixed, but the defense is getting fixed. And it showed a lot of fight, a lot of physicality, a lot of signs of life. So I appreciate everything we saw about this defense. So today, let's check out what our show gonna be about. The Brian Schottenheimer press conference. Haven't listened to it, but I'm excited to hear it because, I'm telling you, man, Brian Schottenheimer deserves a standing ovation. Brian Schottenheimer, rather than sit back and let Matt Eberflus control his destiny, Brian said, I'm going to control my own destiny. Got in that defensive room and helped out Matt Eberflus, and they came up with a great game plan, and it worked. We know it was the Washington Commanders. I don't care. I'm enjoying it. Next, we're going to listen to Stephen Jones. Not a long interview, but he did reveal some things about Demarion Overshown, which we will be talking about a little bit after the Stephen Jones presser. We'll be talking about Demarion Overshown. And you can already see by the title, Overshown is back. Also, we're going to look at some numbers on Dak Prescott, George Pickens, and we're also going to look at our man coverage yesterday versus zone coverage. We're going to look at man coverage versus zone coverage and see how effective it was for the Dallas Cowboys. Also, I want to listen to something they put on 105.3 The Fan. I have not listened to it, but the name of the segment that they did, Brian Broaddus was a part of it, and I want to check it out. The name of the segment was, I think, should the Dallas Cowboys trade Trevon Diggs? So I will listen to it because I think that is the sentiment of quite a few people right now. I think that's the sentiment of quite a few people. And so we're going to check that out. I want to see what they're saying. So this is what we're doing today. Shotty Presser, Stephen Presser. Numbers don't lie. Overshown back and trade Diggs. It is Overreaction Monday, and I don't think it's an overreaction. It's Victory Monday. Let's go. All right, let's get a quick roll call, and then we're going to get into the show. All right. Whether it be 5 or 5,000, we're talking Cowboys. Big Moss Dog up in this thing, man. Hey. Big Moss Dog. Now, I like Dez Bryant. But Dez Bryant has been doing some serious hating on the Dallas Cowboys. Dez Bryant's been doing some serious. Dez Bryant was one of the ones who was talking all the stuff about Michael Parsons and him leaving the team and blah, 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 only for him now to be saying that George Pickens needs to stay on the team. Big Mouse Dog, I'm over. This, you know what though? It's the epitome of some of the Dallas Cowboy fans, content creators, and media members around the world. They thrive off of the drama of the Cowboys. They thrive off of the drama. But then when the Cowboys win, they're the first one on the bandwagon. I just don't understand it. But I'm with you. Dolores said, "Is what's going on?" Ron handling this thing. Victory Monday. G was very pleased with the defense. Very encouraging. Oh yeah, they did their thing. Yeah, man, I saw this thing with Dez. Yeah, it brought back some good memories, but man, Dez be tripping, man. Dez just be tripping. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Michael Tyree, what up? Good to see you. Michael T. Bay, what up? He said we done boys. John Henry, Keek up in this thing. Dominique, what is up, Dominique Pittman? Lee Grant, what's going on? Ty Howard up in here, what is up? William Harris, let's go. My sister Brandy, what up, witches Brandy? She said, what up, chat? Lord Nova, he said, hit that like button. Let's go. Yahusuf, he said, what up, G? Let's talk Victory Monday. Let's go. Yeah, Flu's game ball. That Sax guy, yeah, he did his thing. Let's go, William Harris. He said, I'm hyped. And let's collab one day. Yes, sir. Rob Yah, he said, I'm here for it, G. Let's go. Yeah, Nelson Collado, let's go. Let's go. DC4L roster, man. Terry Tatum, Lee Grant, Travis Beck up in this thing. Let's go. Chanel, our neighborhood stat man. Chanel, I got some stats for you. Tell me what you think about them. My sister from the beginning, Nisi up in this chat. She said, I will continue to overreact. Agent Zero, T minus 21 days and counting. Yeah, hey, Nisi, we got to celebrate. So much good news. Alicia back up in this thing. What up, Alicia? Rodney Evans, my sister Lisa Worley, what up with you? She said, I got a feeling Jerry Jones is trying to get Henderson. Hey, we gonna see. I hope he gets more than Henderson. I think they need a little bit more. But hey, I'm not gonna cry as long as they can get him for a good deal. John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I said, it's a new Jack City. Bass up in this thing. What's up? He said, I doubt he gets traded as much as we want it to happen. I think he plays out the season, then he's gone. I think the problem is I don't think anybody's going to give up anything for him. I think that's one of the biggest problems, Bass. Sub-Zero, what up with you? Good to see you. Ramon, what up with you? Good to see you. Roderick, my brother, what is up over there in Flow Rider? I'm awake. What's up with you? Mac Main, what up with you? Got those vibes since Camp the Diggs was halfway out the door. Yes, sir, me too. Calvin Hicks. He said Dez never left the bandwagon. It's called having an opinion. Yeah, I don't know. He might have went a little far, but Kelvin Hicks, I ain't gonna sweat it. It is what it is. Leroy Humphrey, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Luckweed, my sister, what is going on with you? Good to see you. All right, let's get this thing going. All right. So first off, let's start off with Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer deserves a standing ovation today. We have found the coach we've been looking for since Jimmy Johnson. The thing that I give Brian Schottenheimer credit for, I give Brian Schottenheimer credit for understanding the room. A lot of people come to the Cowboys, coaches, and they try to change the way the Cowboys do things. And what I mean by that, they try to change the way the Cowboys doing things. They already know what it is before they come in. They come in, and then they get in a little bit. They have some success, then they don't have success. Then you see this period of fighting and shots taken in the media, and then it just becomes a mess as time goes on. But Brian Schottenheimer has done something that I just hadn't seen the rest of them do. He made it his business that he was going to unite the front office and the team. He made it his business that he was not going to do anything that brought strife between the front office and the team. He made it his business to try to be a communicator and a problem solver. And he's done those things. I mean, he's absolutely done those things. Brian Schottenheimer He knows what it is. He understands the room. He knows what it is. So he's not tripping on the fact that he makes $4.5 million. Eberflus makes $4 million. He's not tripping on the fact that Jerry hired Eberflus. He's not tripping on the fact that Jerry says whatever he says on his radio show. He's not tripping about the Michael Parsons trade. He's not tripping about any of the things that would have just thrown this entire franchise off the rails in the past. Brian Schottenheimer has navigated every single issue that has come before him, and he's done a great job with it, and he's continued to not only keep this team on the rails, but he's continued to just keep molding this into a team no matter what happens, no matter what. And so he got in there this week. He got in here last week. The defense was atrocious. He rolled up his sleeves. He got in the defensive room. He told Matt Eberflus how he would attack his defense. He said things that needed to change, and he got Matt Eberflus to implement those changes. And so again, he understands the room. It's not so much that Jerry hired Matt Eberflus. My thing, I said it last week, would Jerry allow Brian Schottenheimer to oversee Matt Eberflus? And that's exactly what they've done. I don't think there's any conspiracy of Matt Eberflus to be the coach of the Cowboys, sabotaging Brian Schottenheimer. I think what we've been seeing with Matt Eberflus is very simple, that Matt Eberflus, I think, has been frustrated that he doesn't have the players to run his system, so he reluctantly just said, I'm going to just run zone because they can't do anything else. But he made some changes this week, and so we're going to see, now that he's made those changes, we're not just going to look at one game. Let's see what happens against the Denver Broncos, and then let's see what happens against the Arizona Cardinals. And then I think we'll get a good snapshot, and then by that time, we'll get DeMarion Overshown back, and I think we may be rolling. Josh Butler will be back. Savon Revel Jr., I heard today, Savon Revel Jr. is also hitting his 21-day window. Now, Savon Revel Jr., before there was any kind of anything with Trayvon Diggs, I said from the get-go, Savon Revel Jr. was already going to be the Trayvon Diggs replacement. And so we're going to get him on the field. They'll start working him in slowly, and we'll see what he looks like towards the end of the season. And so I'm just telling you, man, I'm giving Brian Schottenheimer all kinds of props, even though I've been kind of perturbed about the way he's been working in Jaden Blue. But this past week, he worked in Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue was 7 for 28, and that is nothing to sneeze at. That's 4.1 yards per carry, and he had a really good run that got called back. Lisa Worley, cover your ears. He had one run that got called back because of holding call on Jalen Tolbert, but it happens, no big deal. But he would have had more yards than that. So the more they start getting Jaden Blue in the game, Jaden Blue gets used to the game speed and gets his NFL pro vision correct. Man, the Cowboys they're gonna be stinky good down the stretch. Boy, they're gonna be stinky good down the stretch. They're gonna be stinky good. Jakira, she said, dang, you read my comment. What's going on, Jakira? All right, so let's get this thing going with Brian Schottenheimer. Again, I haven't heard it, but I just wanted to give you an introduction on Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, standing ovation for me. Standing ovation from me. I mean, he has done an absolute bang-up job, and I can't say enough. I got my dates mixed up here. I can't say enough about what this man has done with the Dallas Cowboys. So many people doubted him, but I can tell you this, he's making a lot of people believers. All right, so let's get into this. Let me go over here to DallasCowboys.com. I had my links already pulled up, but I guess I must have closed them out or something. So let's pull up DallasCowboys.com. Let's listen to Brian Schottenheimer. It doesn't seem to be that long. Let's check him out.
You guys have been so up and down Can you figure out why you haven't been able to string together some wins like you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I use the word consistency a lot. I think it's early season football in some regards. It's new staff on defense in some regards. It's some new pieces on offense. Not an excuse, some of the injuries, some of the things that we've had to deal with. But I do think yesterday was one of our more complimentary days of team football.
What up, Daniel M?
Moving the football, scoring points. The big 2-minute drive at the end of the first half was huge. The defense doing a good job stopping the run, controlling, Jaden and affecting him. The kicking game, I think, we made all of our kicks. I think we pinned them down inside the 20 4 times, I think, 2 punts and 2 kickoffs. And, overall, I felt like, hopefully we're finding our stride. And like I said, no one cares where we are today. That doesn't matter. What matters is where we're going to be in January.
Did you reiterate that to your team that, hey, let's just not worry about the standings because you did move up in the standings and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I talked to the team about 2 things. Number one, fundamentals. I think, I said it, a very wise old coach with bottle glasses used to talk about.
Yes, sir. Yahoo.
Focus on fundamentals more in late October, November, December, because most teams don't. And so I talked to those guys about that. I think that'll help us clean up some of the penalties. Too many penalties yesterday. 12 called, 11 accepted. And honestly, I was complaining a lot to the officials, but we actually, most of them were well-deserved. And I do like the fact that they were combative, but we need to cut that number in half. And the way you do that is really to focus on the fundamentals. And so that's something we're going to do. The other thing I talked about was the perspective. Keep everything in perspective. The world didn't end when we lost to Carolina. You start a new week. And so we got the win. We played good. And, now we're on to Denver. They actually took my word for it. They actually wanted to come watch you guys work. Everybody wave to the crowds. There you go.
I agree, Lisa. It's time for a winning streak.
Yeah, they did it, yeah. They really want to be in here, but we don't have the room for them, so.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. A couple of housekeeping things.
Oh, I love it. Let's do it.
Diggs, see, out of protocol, in protocol.
Randy?
What's the plan?
Oh, man.
Still in protocol. Yeah, still in protocol. We did see him today, Jim and our.
Brandy, you fasting? Man, I got to do the same thing. How many days you doing? Sending a prayer up for you now. Amen. Brandy, I got to do the same thing. Fasting is always good for the mind, the body, and the soul.
Our doctors did see him today, and they sent him home. So he's still in protocol.
2 other things. Demo put T-minus 20.
Okay, hold on a second. So that sounded like that was a question about Trevon Diggs in this protocol. I just saw somebody in the chat. I'm sorry I went so far down. Somebody in the chat just said that we may not even have Trevon Diggs this week against Denver. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, if they don't have Trevon Diggs against Denver, man, I don't care what no one says. You can tell me anything you want to. This stuff stinks. This stuff stinks all the way around. You get an unverifiable, and what I mean by unverifiable, you get an unverifiable concussion. You get an injury that there's no video of, that only you, that only you can really say this is what happened to you. And you're telling me that you're gonna not only miss this game but the next one? Okay, I'll let anybody tell it who want to tell it. Let me make sure that's what he said.
I said it. They did it. Yeah, they did it. Yeah. They really want to be in here, but we don't have the room for them. So.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. A couple of housekeeping things.
Oh, I love it. Let's do it.
Diggs, see, out of protocol, in protocol. What's the plan?
Yeah, he's still in protocol. Yeah, still in protocol. We did see him today. Jim and our doctors did see him today, and they sent him home. So he's still in protocol.
2 other things. Demo put T-minus 21 on his Twitter account. Is he announcing something for us here?
Yeah, the plan is good news. I'll start with, we're going to be bringing Mingo active. BB will open his window. Expect him to be out there Wednesday. Revel going to open his window.
Yeah.
And, number 0 will be out there running around on Wednesday. So again, don't predict they're all playing. But again, we're excited to get those guys back, and they've worked so hard, man. I'm really, both Demo and Vaughn and really all the guys have worked so hard to get back that I'm
Lisa
excited
Worley,
to get them out there. And
Jadeveon Clowney balled out
and see how they do.
I'm sure you've been in person.
Jadeveon Clowney balled out. No doubt about it, Lisa Worley. Jadeveon Clowney absolutely balled out. I think I'm gonna do a video on him in the next couple of days. He balled out. He absolutely balled out. What up, Carlito Cash? Texas Guns, he said it's discipline. They are doing the digs, man. Let me tell you, whatever they're doing the digs, all he's going to do is check out. Whatever they do the digs, he's just going to continue to check out. Jakira said, good evening, Jay. I would like to know when the Giants blew their 19-point lead. I'm thinking it was about the third quarter. My sons, they were keeping up with it, and they were going crazy because from what my understanding is, the Denver Broncos had been talking mad noise about the New York Giants on social media. They were talking mad noise about the Giants and what they were going to do to them. And so my sons were saying that that's what you get for all that talking, only for the Denver Broncos to roar back. I think it was in the third quarter. And after that, it was over. It was over. And then they got the game tied or something in the fourth quarter, and they wound up winning it. And also they had a botched extra point, I think, or something like that. It was terrible. But I'm glad. We did not need the New York Giants to win. We did not need the New York Giants to win. We needed to tape on the New York Giants to see what did they do to the Denver Broncos to be successful. So I'm glad they lost. I'm glad they lost. We needed that loss for the New York Giants. We need everybody in the NFC East to lose so we can continue to win and us to continue to win. So now the only thing that's in front of us is the Philadelphia Eagles, and so that game is coming down to a showdown. I think just based on what we're watching with the Washington Commanders, the one thing that I fault Dan Quinn for is Dan Quinn, for whatever reason, went and got a lot of old players. They got Jaden Daniels. He's young. But a lot of the players around him, they're not really young. They're older players. And so now he's got all these players, going down. And I think that they're about to experience this year, man, everybody was talking about they're going to be another 12-win team. And, man, let me tell you something. Watch the Commanders to be lucky to win 10 games this year. They'll be lucky to win 10 games. And it's going to come down to the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. And it has been, I can't remember how many years since someone in the NFC East repeated as the NFC East champion. And I got a strange feeling the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to do it this year. I think the Cowboys are going to win the East.
Personnel meetings, does what you guys did yesterday to return these guys make you more inclined or less inclined to do something before the trade deadline to help this team out?
We'll always look at everything. You know that. I think Jerry and Steven, they're always open for business. And, this time of year, you kind of let those guys focus on it because we're so busy game planning and all that stuff. But I am very pleased with the way our guys played yesterday, and not pleased with the consistency that we performed with. But I really feel like it was a very good game. I said last night, and I'll say it again, there were things we need to clean up. I think offensively, our pass protection was not the standard. Dak took too many hits last night for different reasons and different breakdowns and all of that. Defensively, we have to make people kick field goals in the red zone. You have to do that. The league is a high-scoring league right now, and we have to do that. And it starts with us stopping the run in the red zone and then getting off the field on third down. And, really on special teams, the thing we kind of talked about was, we have to let Terp get loose. And it's a lot easier than just saying, hey, Terp, go do it. You got to sustain blocks and do things like that. And that goes back to my message to them about fundamentals.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. The defensive changes that were in place.
Yeah, Shotty got that new hat on,
is that
Daniel
something
Lim.
continues to go forward, or is that a week? Did you view that as a week-to-week?
Yeah, each week's different. Hey, let's be honest.
Okay, David, it was the fourth quarter. Okay, I thought it was the third quarter.
They had a few guys out. I don't feel bad for them. We've had a lot of guys out, but we're not sitting here saying, "Hey, we're ready." I mean, we're it. We're not saying we're it right now in any phase, but we're going to keep working hard. And we put together a great plan. The guys executed that plan. The guys practiced well. It showed up throughout the week, and man, the communication, I just can't say enough about that, Todd. I mean, just the way our guys communicated and with some different pieces in there. Marquise Bell did a really good job. I was really proud of him. Shamar James. K9 was.
I'm just still like, man, let me tell you, two things can be true. I said this last night, and I'm saying it again. Two things can be true. I don't think the team said Diggs is not playing. We're going to play better. We're going to prove we can play without Diggs. We're going to answer the bell without Diggs. I don't think that's what happened. But you cannot deny how much better things were without Diggs. This is a heck of a coincidence. I'm just telling us all. This is a heck of a coincidence. That the day that you're off, it's not just a good day. It's the best day the defense has had the entire season. Man, I don't care what anyone says. Two things can be true. I don't even think this is even necessarily, I don't think it's about Diggs' performance. It's just something fundamentally crazy about this. And have y'all noticed how Brian keeps emphasizing it? How Brian keeps emphasizing. I can't stress enough how great the communication was. In 1 week, and I understand it was the Washington Commanders without their 1, their 2, their 3 wide receiver. But doggone it, I had to go look up who Bridges was. I only knew Triquez Bridges by his first name. I had to go look up and see who is Bridges. And then I was like, oh, it's Triquez. Triquez was playing his butt off. This dude was playing so good. My wife said, who is Bridges? I had to go look it up. How does Triquez Bridges, who hasn't even been playing, how does Triquez Bridges step on the field, physical, communication, tackling? I mean, how does he do it? How does he do it? I'm just telling us. This, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But they're emphasizing just how two things can be true. I don't understand it. And I don't know, some people take it as Trayvon Diggs hate. No, I'm not. It's not Trayvon Diggs hate. I'm just stating the obvious that other people are noticing too. Dang, man, doggone it. How does your performance jump this? I mean, do we realize the performance level the Cowboys jumped from? I mean, the performance level was insane. I mean, man, come on, man. You can't tell me that man made that big of a difference in the communication. Because I'm going to show you, I got a graph on this. They still ran quite a few. They still ran quite a few of zone. And they were successful in that zone. We gonna see. This is crazy to me. We'll see if he comes back this week. We'll see if they come back. If he comes back this week. If Diggs ain't back this week, something up. If Diggs ain't back this week, something is up. But I'll tell you this. Y'all better get ready, especially the Diggs apologists, because if Diggs steps back on that field this week and they do some of the same things they did last week or this past Sunday, and the Denver Broncos run all up and down through the Cowboys, they're going to be looking at Diggs' back. People are going to be looking at Diggs' back. Now, we'll have to, those of us who understand this will understand the fact that the Broncos aren't playing with their 4th, 5th, and 6th receiver. But the expectation is with the way things went this week, even with the Denver Broncos, this thing ought to look better. We're going to see. But this is crazy to me.
I mean, it's so good to see him kind of take control, and that was great. And then, Donovan Ezeraku, I mean, I just think he's a rising star.
Donovan Ezeraku looked great.
John, yeah.
By the way, Todd's the only one that says hi. You guys ever notice that? He says hi. Todd Art, no, it's too late. Thank you. I appreciate that. He says hi. You don't have to say hi.
All right. John Schroeder with The Athletic. You mentioned Kenneth Murray, and he was just talking a little while ago about getting the defense together. The guys together are kind of on their own last week and going over the calls and putting in that extra time to make sure everybody was on the same page. When you hear that as a coach, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually I just heard that in my prep for you guys. It gets me jacked, man. It gets me excited. When we went out and got K9.
Boy, I can't help but laugh at Brandy. Brandy got me laughing because Brandy is doing the same thing my wife did. And even Brandy, I had to do a double take, Brandy. I said, who's number 25? Triquez Bridges is the same guy we picked up when we picked up Reddy. We signed him in the same week. And I just remember his name was Triquez. I didn't remember Bridges. And so Brandy, my wife was the same way. She said, who is Bridges? And even I was like, well, wait a minute, who is Bridges? And I was like, I don't remember nobody number 25. I said, I didn't remember nobody number 25, but he's the guy we got at the same time we got Reddy. Same time we got Reddy. Hey, Bass, I'll tell you this. Now, I know it was the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th receiver. I'm going to continue to preface it with this. But Bass, he didn't play like a Jag yesterday. He did not play like a Jag. He was all over the place. He was all over the place. So I like the way he played. The regulator, he said he ain't no K9. You talking about Murray? Man, I don't know how Murray got that name K9. I don't know how Murray got that name K9 because I haven't really I ain't heard nobody really refer to this man like that all across the league. I ain't heard nothing like that. But that's what they love calling him K9, boy.
One of the things we loved about him was the leadership and the passion for how he plays the game. I was not aware of that. But you saw a defense that was connected. That was kind of his word, and I could not agree with it more. I mean, the play style, running the football, the passion. I gave some love to the two young guns, Shamar and Easy, on their, first sacks for both of them. The passion and the juice that they bring is amazing. And I will say this, man, I just, we thrive on juice and energy as a coaching staff, as a football team, and I can't say enough about the fans, man. And that environment was awesome. They matched our intensity that we love to play with, and our guys fed off of it, and it was really cool to see.
And then for you as an offensive play caller, you obviously had an idea of what the offense could be when you made the move for George Pickens. But like a game like yesterday, when you're calling that offense and you have George and CD and Turpin and Ferguson and Javonte, like just what is that like?
Fun. I mean, it really is. It's fun because you can call plays and you like. One of my favorite plays was a little check down. We were actually hot. We got beat inside on something, and Dak dumped it off the turf out there in this little swing pass, and he spins out of it and goes for 15 yards. You just see the speed and explosiveness. The throw in 2 minutes from Dak to GP was incredible on their sidelines, which kind of got the 2-minute drive at the end of the half jump started. 88 is really good at football. I mean, we should keep him. He's really good. And but again, what I enjoy is watching these guys play the game the right way with passion, having fun. You know, I challenged them. I did in a serious way. I said, you know, look, I don't personally have an ESPY, but the Seattle Seahawks, when I was a coordinator, had an ESPY for the best celebrations. So, but to watch these guys have fun and celebrate with each other, man, like that as a coach, that's what makes you fulfilled, because you see them playing the game together and loving it. When the love for your brother is more important than the love for your own stats, that's what gets you excited.
And real quick on that.
Now, a lot of people might not realize it, but see, that's the old Jimmy Johnson way of doing things. Jimmy Johnson was a coach that loved for his teams to celebrate. He loved for them to celebrate. In college, he loved the celebration. He loved the bragging, the swag. Jimmy loved all of it, and he loved it all in the pros, because Jimmy practiced hard so they could play hard. And when they played hard and when they won big, Jimmy wanted every bit of those celebrations. Jimmy enjoyed it. This is some of the same type of stuff that you would hear from Jimmy Johnson. Incredulous, let me tell you something. We're not going to have to worry about Dak so much getting sacked by the Denver Broncos. You watch what I tell you. This may be the game where we're going to see the most carries from Javonte Williams we see all season long. I'll be shocked if Javonte Williams don't get 30 carries, if it requires that many. But I'm telling y'all now, y'all better get ready. We got a storyline for this Denver Broncos game. This isn't going to... Remember when we went to Carolina? Some of y'all might not remember the Carolina game because it seems so long ago since we won this past Sunday. But when we went to Carolina, y'all remember that somebody named Rico Dowdle that used to play for the Cowboys told us to buckle up? Javonte Williams is not going to say buckle up. But you watch what I tell you. They are going to play like they said buckle up. Javonte Williams. I'm telling y'all, I'm not going to be shocked if the Javonte Williams run all up and down and sideways through the Denver Broncos. I guarantee you Brian Schottenheimer is going to feed this man. The play action against the Denver Broncos should be absolutely great. I wouldn't be surprised because the Broncos got Surtain, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't think they have a cornerback that can hold George Pickens. I don't think they have a cornerback that can hold George Pickens. But I do see a scenario where I believe Denver will try to go one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb or one-on-one with George Pickens. I think they will try to do it. I think they will get situations where they will do it. And I'm telling you, play action is going to be working for the Cowboys when they play the Denver Broncos. If Scotty Bo and Jackson Dart can put the points up on the Denver Broncos they did, I see no reason why the Cowboys can't put up more. Now, the question is going to be for the Cowboys. We're going to see how good that defense really is. Because Sean Payton he's borderline master play caller. Sean Payton is borderline master play caller. And I can tell you straight up, he don't like the Cowboys. He does not like the Cowboys. I mean, he used to coach for Jerry, but I think a part of him is a little bit perturbed or hurt because he never got the chance to be the coach for the Cowboys. Sean Payton going to bring his A game against the Cowboys. It's going to be a great game. I guarantee you.
Thinking of celebrations, Jake gave you that ball, and then you gave it to Dez. Did you ever get it back?
Dez did catch it. He did. I had no idea. Literally, it's one of those deals where you like blacked out. Like he gave me the ball and the emotion of it all. I don't even know why I did it, but I did. And then Dak said to me, I think I told you guys this. Dak said to me, he goes, "You know, you threw that ball to Des Bryant." I said, "No, I threw it in the stands." Obviously, my arm's not as strong as it once was because I couldn't even get it into the stands. But we say we're getting it back. Now, I saw Des after the game. I didn't get it back. So, Des, I'd like to have it back. Fergie gave it to me, out of love. So, yeah, it's one of those deals where, you get caught up in the emotion of a game, man. And I was like, I did? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay. Take your word for it.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. With Rebel, I'm sure it's been an interesting process for him, frustrating at times. How have you seen him be able to kind of embrace this process and be ready for when his name is called?
Yeah, it is a challenge, Nick. It really is. And, there's a lot of emotions that go through it. I mean, these guys lay in their beds at night and they think about, man, when's it going to happen and all those things. And, there's tears and there's fears and there's all kinds of things like that. But you've just seen it over the last couple of weeks working with Britt. You've seen the confidence and the change of direction in the thing that he's doing, which now makes us very comfortable opening his window and letting him go out there and play football, which he loves to do. And again, it'll be mostly scout team stuff probably this week, and let him run around and chase CD and George and those guys around and see how he does. And he's going to make mistakes, but I'm pretty sure that he's really, really good at football too. So, again, like I said, I can't. Even as a coach, you don't understand what these guys have to go through when you're injured and you have to come back from the injury and all those things, and the mental toughness that it takes to overcome those things. And just proud of them.
As a coach and evaluator too, how excited are you to see what his on-field product will look like for the first time? He was playing really well before the injury. You guys got him in the third round. Just what's kind of the excitement around that?
Yeah, again, I think the size and the athleticism jumped off the film in college.
What up, real estate vet?
Again, he has the traits that we love in corners. They have length, they have competitive spirit, things like that. They've got change of direction, the ability to play man to man. Again, I'm not going to put, I don't want to go too far over the top in my praise for Von because it's going to be a little bit of a process. But I'm excited to get him out there on the grass, running around and chasing around some pretty good receivers.
Hey, Dave Loffenberg, 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys Radio Network. You guys had scored 16 points in the first 6 games in the first quarter. You had 17 yesterday. Was that a point of emphasis throughout the week? And
Yeah, Bass, you're right. Javonte is the key in this game.
early?
Yeah, well, we actually, one of the reasons why, we talk about having a strategy and a plan, and one of the reasons we actually received was, well, number one, we felt good about the plan, but we also wanted to be able to control the decision with the sun. That's something we've always talked about. That's what the satellite imaging told us to do.
What up, Star Guardian X?
But, again, I think, there's a confidence in our offense and what we can do, and George, I think, leads the league right now in yards gained because of pass interference penalties, and people still continue to play him one-on-one, and we still continue to throw the ball up to him. And so usually good things are going to happen. But I think, it's got a lot to do with the execution and the players, and we hit the openers, and they kind of know them. But, each week's different, and it's going to be a hell of a challenge. I'm just getting into my beginning prep for Denver, but wow, what a great defense, and the job Vance Joseph's done with that crew over the last couple of years is really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett
Podell, CBS Sports. Hey, Brian, with DeMar being overshown, this is the second.
That's proud.
It really is.
Hey, give him a question. Give him an extra question.
Clarence waits for the walk-off for him
Yeah.
to say
This
hi.
is the second time you've seen DeMar being overshown, work his way back from one of these knee injuries. What difference or what have you seen from him this time around?
I think just how much he's been around Flus and how he sits right in the front of the meetings. As I've been sitting in the meetings, he sits right in front, and he's got sunglasses on, which is kind of cool. I can't pull that off. I'd try, but he's sitting up front. He's intent, like you hear him wanting to answer all the questions when they're asking other guys. You see him kind of mouthing the answer. I just think it's the understanding of, he knows the physical part's going to take care of itself, but mentally and understanding the system and the calls and close left and rock logs and all the different things that we do, and the checks we have to make
incredulous.
versus certain formations, man, he's all into that. So I think as you mature as a player, you understand that it's not just the movement skills and the ability to tackle and run guys down. It's the mental side of it. It's a chess match. And I think as he's gotten older and wiser, I think he's really attacking the playbook.
Speaking of defensive meetings, Jerry Jones credited you for being in the defensive meeting room a lot for how the defense played on Sunday. Do you plan on being a regular participant in those meetings going forward, or was last week your involvement just kind of a one-off?
No, and again, I appreciate Jerry saying that. I mean, I went in there in support of those guys and wanting to ask questions and share my insight in how I would attack them. I will continue to do that. I think it's part of my job as the head coach, and I was in there today. I'm not just going to go in there, when times are tough. I'm going to go in there when we come off a good game. And but, look, that defense, those players, Matt, his staff, they deserve the credit, not me.
Joe. Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Brian, you kind of alluded to the DPIs for George Pickens so far.
Man, I'm just telling y'all, man. The Dallas Cowboys have a coach. The Dallas Cowboys have a head coach. And I mean, I know that we've had head coaches, but I'm saying we really have a head coach. We have a coach that's actually not just the offensive coordinator. Jason Garrett, offense coordinator. Phillips, defense coordinator. I mean, you just look at some of the coaches that we had. Mike McCarthy, offense coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer is actually being the coach of the Cowboys. He's being the coach of the Cowboys. He's not waiting to see what he can do. He's doing what he can do. And when you're talking about coaching for the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones is your boss, man, this guy is doing a phenomenal job. Hats off to him. And again, and look at what he does. Man, this dude, we all know that this dude, we know that this dude deserves a lot of credit. Brian deserves a lot of credit for what happened this week. And what does he do? He gives credit to Matt Eberflus. Yes, sir. Hats off to you. Hats off. Ron Hanna said Denver has a decent team. No, the defense is insane. But we have to understand that Bo Nix, I think that's his name, second year, they don't play the same after that first year. They have that incredible year. They don't play the same. I'm just telling you. They don't play the same. They look different after that first year. A lot of them look different after that first year. Cowboys going to have their hands full, though. There's no doubt about it. They're going to have their hands full with the Broncos. So we're going to see how improved this defense really is. If they're going to have their hands full. They're going to have their doggone hands full with the Broncos. Ain't no doubt about it. There ain't no doubt about it, period. Chanel said the NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November the 4th, and it is coming fast. All trades must be submitted to the league office by this time. Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see. Daniel, you know what? I think they're going to probably try to put Surtain on George Pickens, and I think they'll probably try to double CeeDee Lamb. And we're going to have another one of these games where the third wide receiver for the Cowboys is going to be key. Whether that be Kevontae Turpin, whether that be Tolbert. And I'm not sure, if I'm not mistaken, Mingo plays this week. Mingo is a bigger bodied receiver. Would love to see him get in the game. I think he can help. I think he can help us out tremendously with Tolbert. With Turpin being a smaller third receiver. Mingo being bigger, maybe he can help out a little bit more in the blocking game. It is going to be up to Tolbert, Mingo, and Turpin, and even Flanoy. And of course, let's not forget old Ferg. It's gonna be huge. But either George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb will get the one-on-one in the double team. I think they'll double team CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb is extremely dangerous after the catch. And I think they're going to try to take some chances with George Pickens and say that maybe Surtain can handle him by himself. I think that's what we have. I think that's what we're going to have going.
Do you, as a coach, kind of, I know he's an expanded route tree here, but do you kind of coordinate and say, hey, we're going to have him on a vertical and that'll be our fail-safe because if they give us man coverage, usually it ends up being pretty good?
I'm with you, Chanel.
I wouldn't say that's the only thing.
If Diggs don't play this week, it's a trade. It's a trade incoming. It's a trade incoming, or he got a serious injury, one of the two.
We do, because I will say, and I said it last week, I think moving him around has paid big dividends for us. We had a big third down conversion in the game where you saw us. We started kind of in a formation in the boundary where we had 3 guys in the boundary, motioned him over across to try to get the matchup that we wanted, and he had a huge conversion on third down in the red zone leading to the Ferguson touchdown, and not the 2-minute, but in the second half. We just know that we've got some guys, if you do want to isolate them one-on-one, CeeDee's pretty damn good too on go balls and 50-50 balls, and you have Turp running down the middle, and so I really think the answer to the question is we're comfortable that we can hurt people when we play well and we execute and we block and run and all those things, that we match up well versus most people.
Obviously playing at elevation, Brandon.
What up, Randy?
We've almost been waiting for the record almost to happen. Do you expand his zone a little bit now that you're in elevation this week?
Let's see how he practices. I mean, I don't know. The guy might not be very good. I don't know. I mean, I think he's probably pretty good. And,
I agree, Jay Recruiter. Jaden Daniels is fragile.
Look, like I said, I showed the team today the 61-yard field goal, and what amazes me, and I'm not a kicking expert, what amazes me is the ease of just the way the operation goes. And I also said this, and he backed me up on it. It's not just him. It's why we went out and re-signed Trent and Banger, but the protection unit. I mean, you look at block kicks in this league right now are the craze in the National Football League. You see more people attacking A-gaps and big bodies, and they're tipping balls, and none of that stuff happens without solid protection and solid timing and things like that. So it really is a team deal, and altitude might make it a little interesting though.
Louis
Scruggs, NBC5. Mingo said he's excited to play because he's not played with Dak yet. What does he need to do to be active in this game? And obviously, you have now Mingo here, a lower stack receiver.
Yeah, again, I think last week was a great step for him. I really do. I think he practiced well. It was very close. We almost, did it last week, but we felt like, give him these next couple of days. And just, again, the consistency of it. We're a very deep receiver room. And we're getting deep. And so he's got to show the ability to go in and make plays and get that timing down with Dak. And there's also a special teams element to it. One guy I'm going to continue to rave about is Ryan Flournoy. I mean, Ryan Flournoy right now is playing well for us on offense, but he's excellent on special teams. Another guy to talk about, Brevin Spon-Ford. I think, he leads the team in tackles on special teams. So I told Flus, you got all these offensive guys making plays. Maybe we go with 25 or 26 on offense this week, but Jonathan had a good week of practice last week. He needs to do that again this week, and the timing and stuff will come with that.
And the NBA season gets going tomorrow.
I want to see Mingo too, Jay Recruiter.
Michael Jordan.
Ball.
Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah.
That was my guy.
Correct.
And not that guy. I don't really know Michael, but that was my guy. Like the posters on the wall. Yeah, you had them all. Wow, good. That was it?
Peter.
Oh.
Did you just call me Peter Ducey?
Damn! Mike Ducey.
Hey, he's out. Hey, he's out. Hey, I get it. He's called me Ryan before.
The more famous Ducey.
Yeah.
There's more than one. Mike Ducey, Fox.
Yeah, I see that too, Jay Recruiter.
You were asked off the top about the up and down nature of this season. You're clearly a pretty emotional guy. How did you learn to harness that and not get too caught up in one end or the other of this thing?
I think I just trust the process.
What up, Booby D?
I really do. I think I've learned that along the way. I think, I am an emotional guy. I have a temper. I've got a few people that keep me grounded. I'd be lying if I said before I walk into a team meeting or two, I've got a guy or two that's like, "Are you good?" I'm good. But really, you just trust the process, And if you don't believe in the process, then what I'm selling to the players is not real, and I do. And again, I think that at the end of the day, we're going to be judged in whatever it is, 3 months from now, how we're doing. I see our team getting better. I really do. I saw a big step forward for us yesterday as a football team. I'm so proud of our ability to protect the football right now. We're 4 games in a row, knock on wood, of not, giving it up. We called it goose egg, and then we've taken it away. We went from, actually I said it in the presser probably week 2 or 3, we were -5 at one point. We're back to even in the giveaway takeaway ratio. That's a huge part of it. And so, if I would have let that change the fact that oh man, we turned it over 4 times against Chicago, I think, and it's like no takeaways for a while. You just keep trusting the process, and you keep working, and you keep teaching and emphasizing, and then you go out and you throw good practices, and at the end of the day, those things pay off for you.
You mentioned the sun at the stadium. If we're up,
what up, Rick? And 5 points.
And close the curtains.
It's majestic.
Yeah, Daniel Rangers. I think the Cowboys going to do something too. I don't think it's going to be biggest Hendrickson though.
To score in those final 2 minutes.
Crazy. It popped in my brain, and I always speak with what Javonte Williams runs, man. I mean, literally, you go back to the Jets, pop the run. Go back yesterday, pops a big run, really well blocked. The safety gets boxed out. He makes the guy miss. But again, the confidence in, the big plays. We can generate big plays in a hurry. It doesn't take us very long sometimes to go down the field because of our talent. It's way more of that than my play calls. I can promise you that. But, you just look at the situation, the touchdown to Ferg. That's a situation that we talk about, and it's 1 word, 3 words. Yeah, 3 words to Dak, and he knows exactly what I'm thinking. So I don't have to tell him, hey, call the play and say a big, long explanation of what it is. I say those 3 words, and I'm not going to say the words, but those 3 words, and then he can go out and execute freely.
When Dak was sacked yesterday, was there a thought to just let it run out, or always taking that time out right there and trying to take the shot?
We're always going to stay aggressive. If we have, time and downs, I believe in this group, and always will. Always have, always will.
Scott Dixon with the AP. Why do you think CD and George are meshing so well? And I feel like that's both on the field and off the field question.
Yeah, I think there's, number one, respect for one another. I think CD's at that stage of his career where he was ready for someone like George to step in and almost want to, have such a close relationship and feed off of one another. I think CD also got tired of getting double and triple covered and bracketed and hit and abused because the teams were targeting him. I think this is why him and George Pickens both like being with each other, because you don't get the same kind of attention you get when you're the sole superstar receiver on the team. When there are 2 superstar receivers on the team, you got to think about it, man. Even the punishment is different. You can't get triple covered when you got another receiver like CD or George Pickens. One of y'all gonna get single covered. And if you throw in a Ferg and you throw in a Turpin, a good third receiver, man, it gets tough for everybody out there. So, yeah, we can clearly understand why these guys are playing good. Realizes over the past couple of years how many people have really targeted him in terms of double teams, rolling coverage, things like that.
Yeah,
that was real.
Exactly.
As the offensive coordinator, play caller, that was very, very real. And so I think that, he was all about adding a guy of GP's talent. And then I just think, from a personality standpoint, they're both really playful. They're both very playful. They both love football. They both love to have a good time and on the field. And I just think that it was perfect timing.
Is there a playful story you can share?
the best one I have, and I've shared it with you guys, so you probably won't like it, but, during OTAs, it was our first red zone period, and CD was on the left, and George was in the slot, and Dak hit George on a little, skinny post down in the red zone, and
the real test
CD
Chanel
was
is going to
running
be
just a
Denver.
quick out on the left, and he saw George catch it, and he literally was looking up to the heavens and saying, "Thank you," because of the way the safety had to tilt. The safety was moving.
Jay Recruiter said Diggs probably
CD,
cut somebody
which
out.
is what opened up the isolation and the look for George.
Kenny Clark, I know he came back, but did he need an MRI or anything today?
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. Yeah, I think he's going to be good. He's tough as nails, and I thought he did a really good job yesterday affecting the quarterback from a pass rush standpoint too.
Kenny Clark, man, that's
the push
great.
that
That's
he and
great
Osa
news.
got in the middle was good to see.
That it? Good.
Thank you, guys.
Man, that is great news about Kenny Clark. Man, we dodged a bullet on Kenny Clark, and I am so good. I'm so glad that Kenny Clark is not. Man, I am so glad that Kenny Clark is not hurt. That would have been a huge blow for the Cowboys. But as it stands, Kenny Clark is going to be good to go. He's going to be good to go as it applies to. He's going to be good to go as it applies to the Denver Broncos. We need him against the Denver Broncos. We need him bad. 70s Fan Show, he said, I agree with you, G. Shotty is a real good coach. We will be better moving forward. Yeah, man, this dude is a coach, man. Brian Schottenheimer is a coach. I got to give him credit. Even where I haven't agreed with certain things that he's done, because you're not going to agree with everything somebody does, he's a great coach, man. He's a great coach. And the one thing that he's done very well is that he's held this team together and he's made it a team, which for me, it just always seemed like it wasn't a team. All right, real quickly, we're going to go over to Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones had some pretty good things to say today. In particular, what I like what he was talking about today was the news about DeMarion Overshown. Let's check this out.
Brought to you by Ford and your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Let's talk with Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Now, this isn't really a question. I guess I kind of wanted to know what your reaction was as well, but on that Javonte Williams run to the 2-yard line right before the end of the half, my 3-year-old son was watching the game with me, and he said, wow, and then goes, that was awesome. Is that about the same reaction that you had to that play?
I would say spot on. It was holy smokes. What did he just do? And what an impressive year he's having for us. And obviously we're fired up for him and what he's brought to the table, his toughness, the way he takes the fight to the opponents, and just a great compliment to what Dak and our passing attack's doing. So yesterday I wouldn't say firing on all cylinders, but we were making a lot of big plays.
How big has it been for this team that you guys have just absolutely, not just yesterday, but the whole season, dominated the last couple of minutes of the first half? That feels like a huge springboard into halftime and beyond.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the turnover ratio. If you win the turnover battle, you'll probably win a game. If you can, score at the end of the first half and also come back out and get a double and score to start the second half, you got a great chance of winning a lot of games. And we probably can do better coming out of the second half, but obviously we have done really well, and I really think it's a great springboard and momentum builder for the second half when our offense makes plays like that.
Shotty said that he spent more time involved in defensive meetings last week. A, how does he find time for that? And then B, was he helping bridge ideas that Flus is trying to get across to the players, or do you think it was more like when a principal sits in on the math class and everybody just kind of acts better?
No, I think it's the former. I think at the end of the day, Shotty can bring, we call it self-scouting, a lot to the table in terms of looking at our defense and, hey, this is how I would come after you. And here's where I think we're, vulnerable. And certainly just wanted to spend more time really walking through, with Matt, kind of where he thought we could do some things that would make it more challenging. And, to me, it's just, it's hats off to Coach Schottenheimer. I mean, taking the ball and run with it, that's what great head coaches do. They're, head coach, everybody wants to say, well, he's an offensive guy or a defensive guy. The great ones, I think, are involved in everything. I mean, Bill Parcells was involved in the special teams meetings, the defensive meetings, the offensive meetings. He did it all. But I think it also goes, it's a great compliment to the group Shotty has over there between Chimko and Clayton and those guys that, he's confident that, they'll get him the information he needs so he can call the type of game he wants to call and understand the game plan.
Oh, for sure. I also saw a story that K9, Kenneth Murray, held a couple extra meetings with the defense, and I'm just kind of wondering how much you feel that communication, that leadership helped this week, and you want to see more of that going forward?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what you're looking for is communication and dialogue. I think that's how you execute. And those guys getting in a room on their own and making sure they're communicating out there, that's where consistency starts to creep in. If you can really, take what the coaches are giving you and then take it to another level and, meet with your guys. And, he's certainly one of the big communicators out there on the field for us. And, for him to be having those meetings, hats off to him. And, that's what it takes if we're going to get better as a defense as we progress here. And that's obviously the goal. I think we took some good steps yesterday. Obviously, we know we still have a lot of work to do there.
How have you felt, or how did you feel about this last week of practice? Because Schottenheimer said, hey, good week of practice. We wanted to get more physical. One of the first things Dak said yesterday was, hey, we need to have another good week of practice. How did you see a difference in practice this past week leading into this game?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when we met, the Telltale 2, we meet on Fridays with our coordinators, and they absolutely said it was their best week. Coach Eberflus was really pumped up about the week we had and the way we executed during practice. And, I just think it's a given going all the way back to the Jimmy Johnson days. When you had great weeks of practice, you usually play good on Sunday. And certainly we had a great week of practice, and I totally agree. We have to keep putting that together, putting those days together and stacking them up, and we'll improve on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we still got a lot of room for improvement as well. There's no doubt in my mind that Coach Schottenheimer and his staff are going to be pushing these guys to meet standards, and I expect that to happen.
When you talk about the potential improvements on offense, that's something that, again, Dak said as well. He goes, the sky's the limit. What does an even better version of this offense look like right now? Because it's clearly been ridiculously good so far.
50 plus?
Well, we hadn't had our meetings, but I know there were a couple drives there late in the second quarter, where we shot ourselves in the foot with holding penalties and, penalties that set you back, and they're hard to overcome. And so you can start with things like that, and then there's just the overall general play. And, we'll see more about it as we move forward. But there's no question in my mind we can play.
Tell you what, real estate vet, they definitely. I know Brian got in there.
We always want George Pickens to catch the ball, but I was telling Kevin earlier this morning, I was like, it doesn't even matter if he catches it. He's a threat. He changes.
I think one of the problem is they probably don't have the time like they would want to, real estate vet,
because of his ability to go deep. And it can be a pass interference, it can be a catch, it can be so many different things. But the fact that he's a threat gives Dak so many more
Chanel,
options.
I said the same thing, but people don't like it. But Diggs hard ain't in Dallas no more.
We just start to go through them. I mean, look at what Javonte's doing. Look at what Ferguson is doing with his production on numbers of receptions and touchdowns. I think it's
I agree with you, Bass.
CD unfortunately has been hurt. Had a little window there where he was hurt, but I think it loosens everything up on him as well. And then, you got the guys, who complement the rest of them, whether it's a Turpin, whether it's a Flournoy, whether it's a JT, everybody's getting in the mix. I think, one thing that was exciting to me, we had a penalty on the play, which is what we got to get out of the game is, our game is, we got to reduce these penalties. I mean, you're going to have some. It's inevitable. But,
yes, sir. Tristan, you appreciate that
I
super
love the
chat.
play Blue made when he went for about 15 down the right sideline. You could really see the juice and the speed that he can bring to this
O'Shawn's going to be
offense,
incredible for us
when you get him in space.
Now, it feels as though, or it seems as though Overshown made the announcement himself this morning. Has the 21-day window been opened for him?
Yes, he is so fired up, and yes, we'll be opening that window with him, and he'll start to work back in, and I know he's fired up. I know our training staff's fired up. He's been itching at the bit to get back, but we wanted to make sure, after coming off 2 injuries, unfortunately, that he was 100% ready to go, but he's got to get, he's going to have that ramp-up period where he gets in football shape. Hadn't been in, didn't get any work in the off season or training camp, so obviously there's work to do there. But, it'll probably take the full allotted 3 weeks for him to get prepared, but hopefully after that bye, he'll be ready to play football.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Mingo is coming to the end of his window, if that is correct. Where do y'all stand with him?
We'll activate him for sure. Okay. So he'll be moving up and be on the roster and competing to get snaps. Obviously, that receiving room's gotten pretty spicy. You're going to have to get in there, but he does. He brings an element with his game, that we don't have. He's obviously got rare size and speed, and he's a physical player, and he'll certainly be wanting to get on the field.
And last thing before we let you go, Stephen. Actually, never mind. Hold on.
Well, if he's got a last thing, my last thing I was going to ask then was, from a football strategy point, it probably made sense, but there's 6 minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the game yesterday. You guys are up at 22 and sitting right at about midfield. Did you also kind of want Brandon Aubrey
Gary,
to
he
get
said the
shot
channel's
at that record
growing.
field
Yeah, it's
goal?
growing, man. God be the
I'm
glory.
Sure everybody talked about
yes,
it. He
sir.
already said,
I'm just keeping
one
my head
NFL
down and
record
grinding.
Yesterday, I think he's
just
now,
trying to keep it honest.
Holds the most 60-plus yard field goals in the history of the NFL. So, yeah, we were up there chuckling. It'd kind of been nice to let him go for it, but we understand.
All right, then I will ask that. I love Brandon Aubrey, so I'm glad you asked that. Do you happen to have any update on Diggs and what happened last week?
No further updates. No, other than obviously had an accident at home, and it was one that kept him from playing. Hopefully, he'll be back ready to go to work this week.
Well, we appreciate the time as always, good sir. Congratulations on the win. We'll catch you next Monday.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Tell me what you want to about this thing with Diggs. It stinks. There's just something not right with this thing with Diggs. There's just something not right with this thing with Diggs. And again, just kind of skipping down to Overshown. Overshown being back. I mean, this is great news for the Cowboys with Overshown being back, because I'm going to tell you the place that I think this defense is suffering. It doesn't have a quarterback on defense. Murray is not a quarterback on defense. That's not what Murray is. Murray is one of the players on defense. He's one of the players on defense. The Cowboys need a leader on the defense. This is what Overshown is going to be. Overshown is going to be Eberflus's voice. Even if he don't have the mic, Overshown is going to be Eberflus's voice on the field. See, they need that voice of someone like Overshown on the field, because they need somebody who is pro coach, pro Eberflus, pro whatever Eberflus is doing. They need a player that is pro that. They don't need players in their ear who are anti-Eberflus, anti-Eberflus scheme, anti-Eberflus everything. No, they need a general on the field that says, okay, this is the call. This is what we're doing. Watch this. Watch this. Make sure you're this. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're here. Let's go get this stop. They need that player. Kenny Clark, he leads by example. Also, Odigizua already said he leads by example. We don't have the linebackers. We don't have the linebackers that can lead. We don't have the cornerback room. Deron Bland, he's not that type of cornerback. We already know Trevon Diggs has been at odds already with the scheme itself. Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson. None of these guys are what you need as the general on the field. Yeah, you need them on the field, but they're not the generals on the field. Overshown, not just his play, because this is what I keep saying about Trevon Diggs. Let's stop boiling this down to a performance. I just don't think this is a performance issue with Trevon Diggs as much as it is. I'm just not sure if his heart is in Dallas. I'm just not sure, because it's just people got to understand what has happened with Diggs. Let's think about what has happened with Diggs this season. Diggs gets injured last season. Diggs decides he's going to do his own rehab. He's at odds with Jerry and Steven over the fact that he goes and does his rehab and not do it with the Cowboys trainers. We get that issue going on. Then we get the Michael Parsons thing going on. The Cowboys, you remember the press conference with Trevon Diggs and Michael Parsons. Trevon Diggs was as affected by the Michael Parsons trade as anybody other than Michael Parsons. So then you get Trevon Diggs with that. Then the Cowboys wait until the first game of the season, and then they really start implementing this quote-unquote scheme they have. Keep in mind, Trevon Diggs didn't even work out in that scheme because he was rehabbing for the most part. So then you get in the scheme, and then the scheme, they don't like the scheme because now you're unleashing it on them, and none of them like the scheme. And so in all of this, you think about everything that's going on with Trevon Diggs in particular. I'm just not sure Trevon Diggs' heart is in Dallas. That's why I don't make this about a performance issue with Diggs. I think this is some kind of, it's just like there's something not there with Diggs. I just don't think he's checked in with the Cowboys. I don't think he's checked in. I don't think he's necessarily back to 100% health. I think if he can just stay healthy this year, he'll be where he wants to be next year. But at the end of the day, when I talk about Trevon Diggs, this is not about performance. And I don't understand why people can't get that. It's not about performance with Diggs. I just think there's something going on with him mentally, and all of the things that I mentioned. These are personal things with Diggs. The Joneses, they came out the box on Diggs in training camp. They came out the box on Diggs and were clearly calling him out by name, expressing that they didn't like what he did with his rehab. And had he did his rehab with them last year, maybe what happened to him last year wouldn't have happened. They basically said that he didn't rehab hard the last time. The Cowboys and Diggs have been at odds. And so, man, you can tell me what you want to, but when you start getting, you start getting to those kind of issues with a front office, man, it's hard to have your heart there. It's hard to have your heart on a team like that. It is. And especially when your best quote unquote guy, your ace Boone Coon, as we called it back in the day, when your ace Boone Coon is no longer on the team. This is tough, man. This is why I say, people, man, we got to stop this thinking that when you're telling the truth about a player, why is it bashing? Not bashing Trevon Diggs, because I don't think this is a performance issue. I just ran down the laundry list of things that I think that has been bothering Trevon Diggs from the beginning. I just don't think his heart is there. Man, it's tough. I don't think his heart is there. He'd have loved it he would have loved it if the Cowboys would have traded him to Green Bay. I think he would have loved it. All right, before we go down to this article about Trevon Diggs, I want to look at something as we talk about the Cowboys and we talk about how this offense has been doing and then I want to talk a little bit about how the defense did yesterday. I want to create a segment. I got a couple of new segments I'm going to try to incorporate here probably during the bye week. So when we come back from the bye week, we're going to have some really interesting segments. But I'm going to call this segment something like where I got right here. Numbers don't lie. And the reason why I'm calling this numbers don't lie is because numbers are a part of the equation. Numbers are always a part of the equation. The numbers tell a story. It tells a story that the numbers say, okay, now I need to go and look at the film. I need to look at the box score. I need to look at all of these things so that I can make sure that what I'm looking at on the numbers are equating into what I'm seeing in wins, what I'm seeing in losses, what I'm seeing just all around. So the numbers matter. They're not the single thing, but the numbers matter. And so I want to look at the numbers don't lie. So I want to show you some things about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has been absolutely incredible. Dak Prescott has, at least going into last week, I think he had the most attempts out of all the quarterbacks. But what's insane about Dak Prescott, it's not the fact that he has the most attempts, but how do you have the most attempts and your completion percentage is like 71.4%? I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible to have a completion percentage like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has 1,881 yards. Dak Prescott is basically on par easily for 4,500 yards. And if Dak Prescott messes around and connects some of these longer passes that I think they're going to be doing later on down the line, Dak Prescott could easily get close to 5,000 yards, if not eclipse it. Dak Prescott has 16 touchdowns. Not only does he have 16 touchdowns, just think about the fact the last 4 games, Dak Prescott has thrown for 3 touchdowns. He's on track to have somewhere around 39 touchdowns. But you throw in there the fact that Dak could easily have some 4 and 5 touchdown games. It won't surprise me if Dak Prescott eclipses 40-plus touchdowns. It won't surprise me. So also, this one right here is the one that's really incredible. Dak Prescott has 3 interceptions. And when you think about these 3 interceptions, Dak Prescott could literally only have 1 interception. The 1 interception was a bad call. They went back and looked at the New York Giants, looked at the interception in the New York Giants game, and it wasn't an interception. The ball hit the ground and the tape shows it clearly. The second interception, and really it's the 3rd interception, but the 3rd interception was in garbage time. They were just trying to force it and make something happen. So it was in garbage time. And the 3rd interception, which is the 2nd interception, that was a tip by Pickens, where Pickens literally just tipped the ball into the defender's hand, hit him in both of his hands. It was a perfect pass. So in reality, Dak Prescott should only have 1 interception because you can't dismiss the 1 in garbage time. But the tip from Pickens, it counts, but that was Pickens' fault. It wasn't a bad throw by far. And then the other one was a bad call by the referee. Dak Prescott in totality. Dak Prescott is balling. Dak Prescott is balling on a level that is better than his 2023 campaign. Dak Prescott is absolutely balling. The Cowboys have got to continue They have got to continue to try to fix this defense. The defense isn't fixed. We know this. The defense isn't fixed, but they're fixing it. Now, we're going to see what they are against the Denver Broncos, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see what they are against the Arizona Cardinals, because the Arizona Cardinals are absolutely struggling right now. Kyler Murray is injured. Jacoby Brissett played yesterday. I think he played okay. They went up against the Green Bay Packers. I think the score was like, 27-23. I mean, he looked okay. He looked good. But they can't. The problem with Arizona, they're not going to be able to match a team like Dallas. Dallas' problem is their defense. But every defensive coordinator facing Dallas, as long as Dak, the two receivers, Javonte Williams, as long as those four are healthy, every team that plays the Cowboys know it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. If CeeDee Lamb plays the Carolina Panthers, I don't think the Carolina Panthers beat us. If CeeDee Lamb isn't hurt in the second drive of the game against the Chicago Bears, I don't believe the Chicago Bears beat us. It is a nightmare. The Cowboys are a nightmare because they have so many weapons. They are a nightmare. And you think about what I love what Flus is doing. Not Flus, but what Brian Schottenheimer is doing. They're slowly but surely bringing Jaden Blue up to speed. Now, watching Jaden Blue, as I said yesterday on the live, I'm understanding Jaden Blue more and more. Jaden Blue, you can tell the way he runs. He knows he's fast, but he's waiting. It's like he's waiting. He's looking and waiting because he wants that opening. Because in college, you get, holes in college sometimes. It's like, come on, man. You playing guys on the team, man. You playing investment bankers. I mean, you playing guys. Some of these guys ain't going to never play football after it's over with. But when you think about the pros, these are professionals. No, this is their livelihood. The creases aren't as big. The holes in the NFL are not as big. They don't open as wide and stay open as wide. And so as I'm looking at Jaden Blue, I can see where he's trying to pick his way through so he can hit that burst of speed and he can hit that home run. But I do think the thing that you have to learn in the NFL, it's not always about hitting the home run. As a running back in the pros, it's not always about hitting the home run. Sometimes in the pros, man, it ain't about hitting the home run. Sometimes you got to say, okay, I'm going to get the second base today. I'm going to get the first base. I'm going to get the second base. I'm going to get the third base. And you got to keep running until you get that daylight and then you get it. But I'm telling you, Jaden Blue, 7 for 28, 4.1 yards a carry, great. And one of those runs that was really good when he took it around the right side, man, Jaden Blue looked great. Jaden Blue looked great. But all in all, Dak Prescott is looking incredible. And the scary thing about Dak Prescott and the way that he's playing, I can't even believe it because I said the same thing last week. The insane part is that the Cowboys defense the Cowboys offense can get better. When you look at the fact they're kicking field goals, no, they can be better. They scored 44 points, 37 points on offense. They can do better. If the Cowboys hit on all cylinders, I'm telling us right now, the Cowboys are going to put up a 50 burger. There is no doubt about it. They're going to put up 50 points at least twice this year if they hit on all cylinders. I'm telling you, the Cowboys offense, Dak Prescott, this offense is incredible. Incredible. All right. Hold tight, Lisa Worley. We're going to get to the defense in a moment. I got some stuff on the defense I'm going to show you how they performed yesterday. And this is why I keep saying, man, this thing about Trayvon Diggs, I don't care what anybody says, it stinks. But we're going to continue on the numbers don't lie. Let's look at another player where the numbers don't lie. This dude, George Pickens, is incredible. And I want us to think about everything that people have been talking about the Cowboys. I said this from the beginning of the season. I said it even during training camp when all of the Micah Parsons talk was going on. I said it clearly. I don't care what anyone says. All roads have always pointed to George Pickens. All roads have always pointed to George Pickens. This was before we saw what George Pickens has done through 7 games. All roads always pointed to George Pickens. They are going to, I'm telling you, the Cowboys are going to mega pay George Pickens. And they're not going to let anything get in their way. One thing I know about Jerry Jones loves defense like anybody else does. Defense wins championships. But he also loves offense because offense scores points and offense puts people in the seats. Offense gets you the ratings. Offense gets you the excitement. But you need the defense for the wins. You need the defense for the wins, the championships, the playoffs. You need the defense for that. But when you got an offense like the Cowboys, you can bring along an okay defense. Pat Mahomes has done it twice. Pat Mahomes twice has brought an okay defense, a not top 10 defense. Patrick Mahomes is really the only one that can claim this because all these other teams, if you look at them, as far as their Super Bowls go, top 10 defenses over the last few years. But Patrick Mahomes has won a couple of those Super Bowls without top 10 defenses. The Cowboys offense right now is so good. They could go to a Super Bowl with a number 20 defense. I guarantee you they could go to the Super Bowl with a number 20. 15 to 20, they're in there. They can beat everybody they play with a 15 to 20th ranked defense. Now, with a number 32, a number 31 defense, number 30, 29, 28, it's going to be tough. Because that means you have to play flawless football. You have to play flawless football. But if you give me a number 20, 21, 22, I just need you to get me 4 stops today. If you get me 4 stops and we get 9 shots, if we get 9 cracks at scoring, we got Brandon Aubrey who can kick it from 70. We got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue is about to get into this mix. We got so many weapons. You give us 9 cracks. Now, we might not get you 63, but we can probably get you 40 to 49. The points the Cowboys are scoring, I showed it before, even in the Carolina game. That week, 27 points would have beat 90% of the teams. 27 points would have beat 90% of the teams that played that day. And 40 points, it's beating every single team every single week because there are not many teams that can score 30 points, that can score 40 points, even on bad defenses. There's not a lot of teams that can do that. And this is why the Cowboys, man, we got a weird goal this year. I mean, usually when you start talking about Super Bowls, hey, the goal is, can you keep a team around 17? The Cowboys offense is so good. they could make their goal 24. If the Cowboys could hold every team they play from this day forward to 24 points, they're going to the Super Bowl. Because it is almost impossible to hold the Dallas Cowboys football team below 24 points. The Chicago Bears, they held us down. Why? Turnovers. We turned the ball over with the Javonte Williams fumble on the first drive. CeeDee Lamb got injured on the second drive. Well, that changed the trajectory of the game. And Brian Schottenheimer just didn't, I don't think he had the adjustment in his mind that he thought that he could overcome it. Not to mention, when you're not at full power with our defense, and that doggone 19-play drive by the Chicago Bears was an absolute backbreaker. But when you got your team at full strength, it's going to be hard to stop them. It's going to be hard to stop them. It's just point blank, it's hard to stop them. So, looking at George Pickens, our roads have always pointed to George Pickens because the way he makes this offense look. And Jerry Jones said it, and I believe him. Jerry would rather pay George Pickens, Ty Smith, those guys, he would rather pay them than pay Michael Parsons. And the reason is, at least some of it is, one defensive player by himself, when you're talking about that kind of money, they can't make the impact like a George Pickens can. George Pickens is making an impact on this team that is absolutely astounding. George Pickens took this offense to an entire another level. An entire another level that I don't think anybody can comprehend. But George Pickens so far through 7 games, 54 targets and 36 receptions, 607 yards. I said it before the season started. Dak Prescott is going to have 2,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard tight end. Jake Ferguson is probably going to have 1,000 yards. Jake Ferguson with 1,000. George Pickens is probably going to get 1,200 to 1,300. CeeDee Lamb is probably going to get 1,300 to 1,500. Dak Prescott is going to hit 4,000 yards on 3 receivers. 2 receivers and a tight end. George Pickens is already at 607. His average yards per catch is 16.9, 6 touchdowns. George Pickens at this point, what have we played? 7 games. George Pickens is on track for 14 touchdowns. George Pickens is about to go. George Pickens is breaking the bank. we might as well get ready. George Pickens is breaking the bank, and Jerry gonna pay him. Jerry is going to pay George Pickens. And this is why we better prepare ourselves. We better prepare ourselves because this is one of the reasons why I don't think that Jerry and these guys are going to go out in the trade deadline. Not saying that they won't, but I'll be shocked if they do it. If they go out and spend mad money trying to get Max Crosby, trying to get Trey Hendrickson, because Trey Hendrickson comes with his own set of problems as far as the way you're going to have to try to figure out his contract. Max Crosby's already got a contract. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do that. Their priority is George Pickens. George Pickens changes this team like no other player can. No other player. There is not a player that you could bring onto the Cowboys that changes this team like George Pickens does. They have to sign George Pickens. And when you look at George Pickens, this is what Brian Schottenheimer was bringing up. George Pickens has 607 yards. But if you look at his combined yards with the pass interference calls, 121 pass interference yards by George Pickens or on George Pickens would push him to a whopping 728 yards. Man, when I tell you George Pickens is different, George Pickens is an alien with Dak Prescott. George Pickens is an alien with with Dak Prescott. He's an alien. He's an alien. I'm telling you. Safety Screwmar said Michael completely took over a game against Arizona. 3 sacks, 10 pressures. Green Bay defense's numbers up across the board. We need more. We needed more for that trade on Michael. I agree with you on that. I think we should have got more. I think we should have got Kenny Clark. If I were the Cowboys, I would have asked for Van Ness, because you got a player and two first round draft picks. I would have got 2 first-round draft picks. Mike would have tried to get maybe a third on 2026. Maybe I would have got a third on 2027. I also probably would have tried to get Van Ness. I'm sorry, I like this kid Van Ness. I wish the Cowboys would have got him. But again, let's kind of add some balance to this safety screw market. Let's add some balance. Bro, we saw Michael Parsons do this in Dallas. We saw Michael Parsons do this stuff in Dallas, man. We did. We saw him do it in Dallas. And I'm telling you, Jerry was right. Yeah, we saw Michael Parsons do this stuff in Dallas. I got to see him do something that he hasn't done in Dallas. That's what I got to see him do. I got to see what he does I want to see what he does in the playoffs. I want to see what he does against I want to see what he does against the toughest teams in the toughest situations, because I'm telling you now, the Green Bay Packers were already good. So what when we talk about what Green Bay gave up, so how do we determine if Green Bay if the trade was worth it for Green Bay? How do we determine it? How do we determine that the trade was good for Green Bay? Because if you're going to tell me that the Green Bay Packers are going to go to the second round, or if they go to the second round, I'm just going to tell you that wasn't worth it. So then we're going to have to wait another year. We may not even see for 3 years. Both sides, we're probably not going to see for 3 years who won this trade. I would say in the short term, if I'm just like right now in the short term, I still say the Cowboys won the trade. Because when I look at where we were last year and when I look at where we are now, when I look at the stats that Michael Parsons had last year, when I look at what some of the stats we have now, I just don't see that big of a difference at this point in time. And that's why I say we're going to probably have to sit back and wait a little bit longer before we can really determine in the long term who won this trade. But right now, I just said it from the beginning. I was cool with it. I was cool with it because some people don't think that mental things matter, but they do matter. They absolutely matter. And we know it matters because on this team, we've heard for 2 years how people on this team was complaining about Michael Parsons. It matters. It absolutely matters. And so when you got those, when you got those kind of issues, man, I don't care how good you play. When you're a person that there's a problem, a locker room problem, whatever the case may be, that is not good for a team. That's just not good for a team. And so, again, yeah, Chanel, see, this is the issue when you start talking about Michael Parsons and people don't like it. You talk about he had four playoff games, 0 sacks. You talk about how he disappeared against the Green Bay Packers. You talk about how he didn't have a sack down the stretch of the 2023 season for 7 games. You start talking about that stuff and people, oh, you hating. I'm just telling the truth. We're good. I think the Cowboys are good. And I think they need to just continue on the trajectory they're going. Now, let's look at this last point and talk about what we saw yesterday. I think this is very interesting when you look at what happened yesterday. I was kind of waiting to see kind of like what yesterday looked like because too many coincidences happened yesterday. How does the defense, and again, people get all in their feelings because they don't want to hear you say, the only thing they jump to is you're hating on Trevon Diggs. Okay, let's get that out of our mind for a moment. Let's just state what happened. Whether anybody accepted, this is what happened. Jerry Jones, and I'm noticing Jerry Jones knows what happened. Jerry Jones knows everyone else is noticing what happened. Everyone is noticing how strange it is. And it could be actually true. But even Jerry Jones said, I can't verify that it's true, but I'm going to take Trevon Diggs at his words. This is Jerry Jones saying this. I can't verify it. Normally you can verify it, but you can't verify this. There's no video. It's only what Trevon Diggs told us. So this is all we have. And even when you listen to Brian Schottenheimer, you listen to even Stephen Jones today, when they ask him about Trevon Diggs, he didn't even elaborate like Jerry Jones did. Jerry is the first one that actually says, we know what happened, but I'm not going to talk about it. But then he goes on to try to defend that it's not fair that we talk about the Cowboys played the best game of the season without Trevon Diggs in the game. Well, why is it not fair? I mean, two things can be true. Trevon Diggs missed the game, and the Cowboys defense played the best game of the season. Those two things are true. And in some way, they're connected. And we don't know necessarily how connected they are. But two things can be true. Jerry Jones knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody is thinking, and numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Not only do the numbers not lie, the numbers say, okay, well, let me go look at the game. I watched the game. And what I saw in that game, I saw a Matt Eberflus I haven't seen the entire season. Somebody tell me, disagree with me. I'm not, y'all already know I respect everybody, what they say. This is not a debate. Because maybe you can enlighten me on something. Because I'm telling you, I saw a Matt Eberflus that I have not seen the entire season. This man was engaged. He was fired up. He was butt patting, he was low-fiving, high-fiving, clapping. This dude was like, let's go. This dude was talking to the referees, everything. Matt Eberflus, for the first time this season, I looked at him yesterday and said, now that coach matches Brian Schottenheimer. It don't matter what fair is. Fair is what you go to over here in Dallas when you're talking about the Texas State Fair. It don't matter what fair is. I'm telling you, not only do the numbers not lie, but all of us, or most of us, watch the game. We know what the box score is. And when we look at what we saw, when we look at these numbers, why did all of this come to fruition? That if he is your best player, if he's your best player, how do you play the best game of the season without your best player? Explain it to me. Brian Schottenheimer kept emphasizing. Y'all heard him tonight. He kept emphasizing. I can't tell you enough how great the communication was. While your best cornerback is out? Now, I'm not calling him their best cornerback, but this is what other people call him. For whatever reason, people are calling him the Cowboys' best cornerback. I don't think he's the Cowboys' best cornerback right now. Not right now. Love it, like it, or hate it, Deron Bland is the Cowboys' best quarterback. We can love it, like it, or hate it. He's the best Cowboys cornerback. How do you play the best game of the season without your best cornerback? That's strange to me. And I'm gonna keep into account. Yes, there are some things that happened. They were not playing against the first, second, and third receiver. I understand that part. But it's not like we had, other than Deron Bland, how much have we been destroying Kyer Elam? Man, until I had to go look up that Traquez was Traquez Bridges, I didn't even know who the heck Bridges was. When you think about, we had a Marquise Bell out there who had not been playing the whole year pretty much. When you look at what we have out there on the field, why did everything click yesterday? Two things can be true. Are we saying that is because of, are we saying that the defense said, are we saying that the defense got together and said, yeah, man, Trayvon Diggs is not here. Boy, we going to really play good today. No, they didn't do that. I'm not looking at and imagining anything that they said. The proof is in the pudding. I'm looking at what they did. They all look different. They all look like they were playing carefree. They all look like they were having fun. They were disciplined. The cornerbacks. Man, this dude Bridges. The reason why my wife said who is Bridges, because wherever the ball was, that's where Bridges was. That dude, man, this dude Bridges was balling. Bridges was out there everywhere the ball was. Bridges was too. Explain to me, how do they get this communication right the week Trayvon Diggs is out? Two things can be true. They didn't get together and say, hey, Trayvon Diggs is not here. Now the communication is going to be great. No. Trayvon Diggs wasn't there and the communication was great. Two things can be true. It's not hating on Trayvon Diggs. It's stating the facts. It's too many coincidences. And this is why everyone has been asking this. Now let's look at what happened in the game. The numbers don't lie. Let's look at what happened in the game. Now, Jerry Jones said that we did some of the same things we've been doing. The difference is we executed. I'll give Jerry Jones some of that, but no, there was some changes. There were some changes. When you look at what the Cowboys did, zone coverage versus man coverage. The Cowboys zone coverage, 52.5%. Their man coverage, 47.5%. Now, Brian Schottenheimer spoke some truth on this. When you look at the analytics, okay, let's throw the analytics in the trash. Let's go Google Gaga on this. I don't need analytics. Let's go Google Gaga. You're playing against the 4th, 5th, and 6th receiver. Heck yeah, you're going man. Why not? Go man. Because you got Deron Bland, Kyer Elam, and all these other guys out there. Surely they can go man-to-man with the 4th, 5th, and 6th receivers from the doggone Washington Commanders. Surely they can do that. Makes sense. That's what they did. But still, they still ran zone 52.5% of the time, I believe it is. And so when we look at their success in zone coverage versus man coverage. So in zone coverage, there were 11 receptions and there were 17 targets. 11 receptions and 17 targets for 162 yards. They had 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 sack. This is where they were in zone coverage. Now, when we look at the man coverage, they had 5 receptions with 15 targets. So this tells us that they were actually able to play better. But let me put this in my mind too. They were able to play better against inferior wide receivers. But let's not try to just play that up so much as if, yeah, we had all of our all-pro cornerbacks out there. When actually we, according to other people, Trayvon Diggs is the best cornerback the Cowboys have, and he was out. So we actually don't have the best cornerback room in the NFL going against the Commanders. We don't. It's not like we were out there with the best players either. But the difference is they performed. So of those 5 receptions, they only got 57 yards. So going man more, especially where in this game it dictated it, because I got a strange feeling we're definitely not going 47.5% man coverage against the Denver Broncos. I just don't think we're going to pull that off against the Broncos. But it made sense in this game. They only got 57 yards, no TDs, no interceptions, and they got 3 sacks. So in this game, made sense. Man-to-man coverage worked for them. Now, it's not like that some of us had not already been screaming for this. Many of us had already been screaming for the fact that the Cowboys were not playing man coverage enough. Anybody who's been following my last 3 keys to the game, keys to the defense, what have I been saying? They got to do more man. They have to do more man. They have to do more blitzing. Look at what they did yesterday. Their previous high blitzing was 28.6. Cowboys were bottom of the league in blitzing. Yesterday, they blitzed 37.5% of the time. It made a difference. The aggressiveness made a difference. Definitely made a difference. The players playing a lot more free, as it seemed, made a difference. They were a lot more physical. A whole lot of things were going. So many things went right for the Cowboys. And I'm listening to DeRon Bland. DeRon Bland in the post-game press conference. DeRon Bland said that Eberflus came to the players personally and asked them, like, what are you most comfortable with? Now, don't think this is new. If I'm not mistaken, in studying on Matt Eberflus's time in Chicago, Matt Eberflus did that in Chicago too. Matt Eberflus actually went to the defense when he took the defense over in Chicago. Matt Eberflus went to the defense and asked them, what do you do best? He did it there too. But nevertheless, so many coincidences happened on that day. So the question becomes, what are they after this game? Because they won't be playing against the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th wide receiver. They won't be doing it. So what will it be after this game? Will Matt Eberflus continue on this trajectory? And I've been saying this for weeks. Bro, I don't care if it's a win or a loss. You were already getting beat playing majority zone. 90% zone is mad crazy. Mad crazy. That's literally saying, as a defensive coordinator, I have no confidence in my players. I just literally have no confidence in my players. But 52, I don't think they'll be 47.5% man. I just got a strange feeling they're probably not going to do that much against the Denver Broncos. But if they can stay in the 30 to 40 range, I think that'll be good. I think that'll be good. Stay in the 30 to 40 range, and if things improve, then you continue to ramp it up. And also do it per competition. Some teams are just not, it's probably just not going to be advisable with the squad that you have that you're going to be able to run like this. So, but again, these are the numbers and the numbers don't lie. We saw the game. Everything matches up. We saw the game. Even what we're looking at shows like Matt Eberflus was just in a different mode yesterday. He was in a different mode yesterday. And I think as things got rolling and things were working and they were getting some stops, I mean, it just hyped him up even more. Just hyped him up even more. So, again, the numbers don't lie. That's all I can tell us. The numbers don't lie. And I still have the same thought process I have about Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs plays for the Dallas Cowboys. I want Trayvon Diggs to be successful. I don't understand why anybody would think otherwise. Why in the world would we not want Trayvon Diggs to be successful? But we also can't ignore. There's some strange stuff going on around this stuff with Trayvon Diggs. And it's the strangeness of it all that has people scratching their heads. I want to play something for you, and then we're going to move on to the last part. I want to listen to 105.3. I actually haven't heard this thing that they're talking about. 105.3 about trading Diggs. Chanel said, yes, G, you're right. Eberflus ran a defensive survey from HOS players in Chi-Town. Yeah, this is not new. A lot of people may jump to the conclusion that this is new, Chanel, but it's not new. Eberflus did the same thing over there. And I'm wondering, did he have the same talk with Trayvon Diggs? Ron Hanna said, I say play both, but disguise your blitzes. Yeah. I think as they go on, they're going to have to be a lot more clever. The regulator, he said, I want to see the coaches and players on the sidelines fired up every game. The regulator, they were fired up yesterday. Boy, it was crazy how fired up they were. They were fired up, man. Eberflus has to keep it that way every game. That's the consistency. And notice today, Brian Schottenheimer, he understands what it was. He says, he's saying the same thing I'm saying. Let's not jump to conclusion and say that we're fixed. Yesterday showed that we're fixing it. And as a matter of fact, over the last 3 games, we've been fixed more than we've been, well, let me think. So I guess we would kind of be half fixed, half unfixed. We kind of collapsed a little bit in the Jets game, if I'm not mistaken. We started giving up, we gave up yards in 2 of the quarters, and in 2 of the quarters we held them, and then against the Carolina Panthers, we just wet the bed. But then we came back in this game, and for 4 quarters, we were on point. So we just got to see what we are going forward. We just got to build off of this game, and just keep going. And I think at the end of the day, with Trayvon Diggs, it's just going to be what it is. It's just going to be what it is with Trayvon Diggs. It's just going to be what it is. But you think about yesterday, I didn't understand Jerry, he's making this big defense of Trayvon Diggs. He's saying there's no smoking gun, only for him to let the gun be smoking. Why does he say if Diggs comes back and he does what these guys did and adjust his game, plays his game? I mean, why are you saying all that? What in the world's that got to do with what you're saying? I'm telling you, Jerry be doing some very cryptic talking. But anyway, matter of fact, we won't even go there. I want to go to what 105.3 The Fan is talking about. I haven't listened to it, so I'm very interested to see what in the world are they talking about trading Trayvon Diggs. And again, when you start talking about trading a player, you got to have somebody who want to trade for him. I mean, that's definitely easier said than done. But let's check out what they're saying here. Let's see. All right, so it's 105.3 The Fan, and this is the Trade Diggs section. Poobie D said, more men, more pressure. Yeah, I feel that, Poobie D. Chanel said, Jerry needs to just ask Diggs if he wants to be here in Dallas, period. I would. I definitely would. But I hope they run this same thing with Diggs get back. Because, I mean, we saw it in the Green Bay game. I mean, it's not like Diggs ain't got some skill. I think the only thing with Diggs is his speed now. And he never was a burner to begin with. But Diggs got ball skills. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. He's got ball skills. I mean, we saw him against the Green Bay Packers. Had they not caught him with 12 men on the field, Diggs got an interception then. So, I want to see if they can play this with him and see how he does in it. I definitely want to see him in it. All right, let's run this last segment. See what 105.3 The Fan is talking about. Trading Trevon Diggs.
Hey, kids! Your old pal Krusty's gonna teach you 5 new words.
You're not wrong about that.
From Dallas, Texas, number 55, Brian Waters.
Thank you to my teammates. Thank you to Reliant. Appreciate you guys for being a part of this. What is your exit strategy? Is there an exit strategy for Diggs? You got one?
Yeah, I want to trade him. I think the sooner the better. Did you miss him yesterday? And we'll see against better wide receivers.
Yeah, my hope is that he saw that yesterday and was like, I want to be a part of this. If we're going to try and play more man coverage, if we're going to do some things that maybe are a little bit more conducive to my skill set, maybe there's a little bit different at it.
I agree, Chanel. It was crazy to me.
He's upset with the front office. Is he upset with the coaches? I mean, I don't know how you cannot look at your teammates go out there and play yesterday and play hard the way they did. And I know that the Commanders were undermanned at receiver. But, man, like every time you hear a defensive player talk, they compliment the offense. How could you not want to be a part of something where the offense that good as a defensive player?
Yeah. Oh, man, Bernard, you're right. Well, we pistol whip the folks. Next week we
get pistol man, I'm good. I'm good. How about just being a competitor? Yeah. Me personally, and I said this in the post game with Eric, I'm not moving on from him. He's one of my better players at cornerback. When he's dialed in and playing, he could be really, really good. And I don't know if just moving on to a guy that now he has to determine if he wants to be here or not. And maybe he's already made that determination.
I just think injuries have made him now an average player, and you paid him to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So now it's like it doesn't make sense for the salary cap to have an average corner at that level. So I'm getting Revel off into the 21 window, and I'm seeing how good he is. Maybe we get him in a game, and we have 2 games to evaluate him while we also look at what might be out there in a trade for Diggs.
Yeah. There's just so much. Maybe.
So we got to move on from him at the end of the year anyway. It's a salary cap move.
Yeah, but I'm also, like I said, I think yesterday.
No, that's not me right there, Chanel.
Forward, you were going to need him.
He'd have been banging a little bit more if it was mine.
I say that in a way that I'm not totally sure. Like, it was nice to see Bland make some plays. Matter of fact, they played 9 in the box yesterday, and Bland was kind of the 9th guy down there making tackles. And
he was hitting yesterday,
being around the ball and stuff. I just like to believe that maybe Diggs could be that guy too, and
not in the box, but a bounce back.
I'm just like a guy that's like all of a sudden yeah. Now I do believe that they played a lot of man coverage yesterday because that is how you beat. That's how you beat this quarterback. You make him have to throw the ball. Like teams will tell you like, oh, how do you play Dak? Thus, if someone asked you how would you play coverage against Dak Prescott, what would you say?
Clog and cover.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So there's certain
dropping everybody and hoping 4 can stop the run.
Yeah. There's certain quarterbacks that like going into a game, like okay, our best chance of slowing this guy down is rushing 3 and just drop 8 and see if we can play that way. But I kind of feel like that they went into that game yesterday, and I don't think it was like, hey, let's do something different. I think they honestly believe that from game to game to game, they're trying to look at this and see what makes these quarterbacks have problems.
And I love that because that suggests we're not married to our scheme. We're looking at the opponent and deciding what's the best way to break them down.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys, and as much as
Problem is, though, they're not stopping Dak now because you're not going to rush 4. I dare a team to rush 4 and drop 7 against the Cowboys. I dare you. Javonte Williams will run all over you. With that offensive line of Javonte Williams and you're rushing 4, you don't have a chance. They will, Clayton Adams, Brian Schottenheimer, they'll run all through you with Javonte Williams. It ain't happening. It's just not happening. So if you would ask me today, how do you beat Dak Prescott with those weapons? I just think your only hope is getting to the quarterback. I just think your only hope is finding a way to get to Dak Prescott. And we saw Green Bay. They got to Dak Prescott. Problem is Dak already had the ball out.
I hear what everybody's saying, and I really don't have a great argument against you right now. But I think you're going to need Diggs. I think you're going to need him in one of these games. And like I said, I think he's one of your better corners. But you're right. The health could be a problem. His demeanor could be a problem. The front office could have a problem with him, and the coaching staff could have a problem.
See, this is what I keep saying. I don't think this is necessarily a performance issue. This seems to be something other than performance. This just seemed to be all out a problem we saw from the get-go. Jerry and Steven came out against Trayvon Diggs from the get-go about his rehab. And so the battle was on after that.
If those are all things that we find out, then move on from him. But otherwise, I'm trying.
I mean, his value is
Chanel, good luck with that today.
So if you traded him,
I don't think you can pull it off.
Maybe the better move is to hang on to him and hope he plays well at some point.
I just want to believe that he saw yesterday and kind of felt like, and maybe we'll learn today about, have we had locker room yet? I don't know if we've.
Yeah, there's locker room going on right now. And then Shotty's going to talk here soon.
Okay, see, I think
we didn't learn nothing. They sent him home today.
Say his side of the story here, what happened, and I'd like to hear his explanation, but I'd also I'd like to know about his demeanor too. If he's not interested in being here, I'm with you guys. Let's get on the horn and move on. But if he's,
and there's reasons to be skeptical.
Yeah, the regulator, he a nasty runner, boy.
For 5 years, I'd be rolling my eyes at some of the things this organization had done.
Sure.
But I think we're trying to change that culture.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be a part of it, then we could move on.
All right, we had questions about the.
See, this guy's saying the same thing that I'm saying. All these things that I listed that may be bothering Trayvon Diggs. Maybe that's why his heart is not in Dallas. I just don't think this is much of a performance issue as it is a mental issue, a mentality issue. That this dude just don't like being in Dallas without Michael Parsons. I mean, say it like it is. I don't think he likes being in Dallas without Michael Parsons. I don't think he likes the fact that Michael Parsons is not here anymore. It is what it is.
The Zach Ertz touchdown. Zach,
Yes.
Did you look at that?
I did.
What were your thoughts about and what I think they're playing? I think what they're trying to do is it's almost like they're playing a short yardage coverage by they're playing the sticks with everybody lining up on the goal line.
Yeah.
And playing with James. I think you got a corner dropping on the right side, on the right.
All right, so the only thing I really want to listen to in that segment is what they said about Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, we already know he don't like criticism, the regulator. We already know he don't like criticism. Okay, I appreciate what they had to say. Brian Broadus says that he thinks the Cowboys may need Trayvon Diggs. I'd say this. I mean, if Trayvon Diggs wants to be here, I think Again, I say what I said before. I want Trayvon Diggs to have the best season of his career. Why not? He plays with the Dallas Cowboys. If Trayvon Diggs is having success, that means the Cowboys are winning. Why wouldn't we want Diggs to be successful? I don't understand people who think that you don't want Diggs to be successful because we're just stating the obvious. But at the end of the day, we're going to sit back and watch now because Brian brought us, he said maybe we'll get some kind of news, but we got no news. So we're still in the dark. All right, so let's just for fun as we get ready to get out of here. Next week. Tomorrow we're going to start our coverage of the Denver Broncos, and we're going to dig up some stuff on Javonte Williams. I really want to look at some of the stuff that he did with us. Oh man, Randy, you are not lying. Boy, I would love to see Phil Maffa, but the Cowboys may be stashing Phil Maffa until next season, or maybe at the end of the season. We'll see. Boy, I would love to see Phil Maffa. All right. Football fanatic, what's going on with you, my brother? All right. So just for fun. Boy, Chanel. Boy, he said no NFL team should ever have to beg a player to love playing on your team. Woo! Yes, sir. I feel you on that. Yes, sir. Tony Cyphers. This is actually what we've seen, the last 2 to 3 years? Diggs can't hold up for a whole season. That fact alone doesn't justify the contract. He's just not available. Your best ability is availability. Man, real estate vet, bro, I'm trying to get Cowboys After Dark back on track. I messed up my sleep. And man, I've been falling asleep at doggone 10:30 and 11 o'clock. I'm going to try my best to get that back on track, if not this week, next week. All right. So just for fun, I want to look at this real quick. So yesterday, the Cowboys got a W. Cowboys got a W. The sad part about this football season, guys, is that the Cowboys only have 10 games left. Y'all realize we only have 10 games left? And then we're going to be at the playoffs. And I think we're going to be in the playoffs. But let's kind of look at the picture of the Cowboys over these next few games. So if I'm not mistaken, the Cowboys this season have not lost a game at home. And I'm starting to be of the belief that with the exception of maybe 2 games that may be questionable, I think the Cowboys are going to win the majority of their games at home. So let's kind of go up here. Those are the wins. These are the losses. And then this is the tie. And we don't even know how the tie is going to turn out for us. But I do think that tie is going to wind up helping us for some reason. So we got to win against the Commanders. So our next goal is we have to get this win against the Broncos. And down here we got the Cowboys and we're going to the Giants. Well, I want to do something different as we start looking at this. I'm looking at the home games the Cowboys have first. So if you're talking about 3-3-1, I think the magic number for the Cowboys to get to the playoffs are 10 wins. I do believe the Cowboys beat the Arizona Cardinals. I believe they beat the Arizona Cardinals. I believe the Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to beat the Eagles at home. The Cowboys are going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Cowboys are going to beat the Chargers. So these are the home games that I feel like that are definitive wins for the Cowboys. I think they'll win these games because I don't think these teams in particular, these next 4 teams or those 4 home games, I don't think they can deal with the Cowboys offense. I just don't think they can do it. So that gets the Cowboys to 7 wins, but the magic number is 3. So of all the games left, including the home games and road games, what are the road games and home games remaining the Cowboys can pick up? When I look at the next game, I'm just telling you right now why I feel like this game is going to be a win. I just feel like for some reason, Javonte Williams is going to run his butt off against the Denver Broncos. I believe Javonte Williams gonna have one of them games. I believe he gonna have one of them games. I think Javonte Williams is gonna run all up and down through the Denver Broncos. I think it's a win. I'm telling you early. I'm telling you early. I think it's a win. I think the Cowboys are going to shock the NFL the way they're going to beat the Giants. The way they're going to beat the Broncos. I think they're going to shock the NFL. Javonte Williams, if he don't have 2 touchdowns, I'll be shocked. If he don't run for 125 to 175, I'll be shocked. Javonte Williams is going to play his butt off against the Denver Broncos, and I think he's going to be one of the main reasons why we win. Now, Chanel, he said in the Arizona game, he said we will be going up against Jacoby Brissett as Kyler Murray has a foot injury. Yeah, I was wondering if he'll be back by the time we play the Cowboys. Because I just believe he ain't got enough. Jacoby Brissett is a good quarterback. Nah, he ain't got enough to match the Cowboys. In Dallas? Nah, Cowboys. Y'all think about every game the Cowboys have played at home. How many points have we scored? 40 against New York. 40 against Green Bay. 40 against the Washington Commanders. You come to Dallas, you got to score 40. You got to score 40 until somebody show me otherwise. You got to score 40 when you come to Dallas. I don't think Brissett can score 40. I don't think he's capable of it. I don't think he's capable of it. In Dallas, we play different. We got to play better on the road. So I believe we're going to get a dub. And I think the Cowboys are going to go on a 3-game winning streak. The Cowboys are going to go on a 3-game win streak. I think they get the Denver Broncos game. I think they get the Arizona Cardinal game. That'll get us to the bye week. Then we come back against the lowly Raiders. The Raiders have been struggling. I think the Cowboys beat the Raiders. I think the Cowboys beat the Raiders. So if you look at where I am, this already puts the Cowboys at the 10-win mark. Because I think they could, the home games, these home games, I believe they win. Cardinals, Eagles, Chargers. That's 3. That gets us to 6. I think we beat the Vikings at home. That's 7. On the road, I believe we're going to beat the Broncos. And I also think we're going to beat the Raiders. So I think that's actually 9 games, because maybe I'm not figured in the tie. So that gets us to the magic number of 9. So we got 3 games left. The Thanksgiving game, it's going to be absolutely incredible. I think it's going to be a shootout for the ages between Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know on this. But I can tell you this. Patrick Mahomes is coming back to Dallas. He's from where I'm from, East Texas. He's played in Dallas in high school. It is going to be a battle for the ages. Dak Prescott versus Patrick Mahomes. I'm ready for it. I also think another question mark game. We got Detroit in Detroit. Woo! Woo! It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. If we had Detroit in Dallas, I'd say it's a win. Going to Detroit, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough playing against Detroit. It really is. But as we get to the end, I believe the Cowboys sweep the Commanders this year. I believe the Cowboys sweep the Commanders this year. I really do. I believe they sweep them. Cowboys beat the Commanders. That gets us 10 wins. We got 3 wins right now. Okay, so this is actually 11 wins. This is going to get us to the 11 win mark. So these last 3 games that are left, it's just a matter of, can we win them? Because I'm telling you now, the Giants are going to be a tough out on the last game of the season. They're going to be a tough out in New York. It'll be cold. It's going to be a tough out. We'll see kind of where the Cowboys are on their record. What will that game mean? We'll know all of that when we get to the New York Giants. But I do think the Cowboys get those 11 wins. I believe they get those 11 wins by these teams. And I see where I messed up. I got the Washington Commanders game on record. I see where. Okay, so this is where I see the Cowboys. We've already got this one in the bag. We've already won that one. So if we can win these 2 and then beat the Raiders, and then, of course, I think we're going to beat the Eagles. So you're talking about, and this is what I'm predicting, and we'll see if it comes to fruition. Man, we're talking about a 5-game win streak. I think the Cowboys can pull it off. 5-game win streak. 5-game win streak. And within those 5 games, let's just put in a little margin of error. Even if they lose one of those, they're still in a great position. They're in a great position. And then they'll have 3 more games I think they can win. So I think the Cowboys are going to hit that number 11. At least I think they have a great chance to hit that number 11. That's what I think. But 1 game at a time. We got to start the win streak on Sunday. Beat the Denver Broncos. We got to stop winning 1, losing 1. Winning 1, losing 1. We got to win 2 in a row. We got to win 2 in a row, 3 in a row. So we got to get the Denver game because I believe that the Cardinal game is a sure thing. Because we're scoring 40 at home, so we got to get the Denver game. I think if we can score 31 on the road, we beat the Denver Broncos. 31-34, we beat the Denver Broncos on the road, but we got to go in there and put up points. The Raiders, I just think we're going to beat them. Geno is looking like trash. We might actually see a backup quarterback by the time we see the Raiders. Geno has been terrible. And all them people who said Geno Smith was better than Dak Prescott ought to be ashamed of themselves. Geno has looked bad, man. And so the Cowboys should be able to pull off a 4-game win streak, and we're beating the Eagles. The Eagles are not sweeping us. We're beating the Eagles. No doubt in my mind, we're beating them. So we might be able to win 5 games before we even see the Kansas City Chiefs. And I got a strange feeling. I can't see the Cowboys falling to the Detroit Lions and the Chiefs. And with the way the Lions look right now, I think the easier win for the Cowboys may be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that may actually be the easier game. Man, them Lions, The Green Bay Packers caught them at a great time. Because, boy, I'm telling you now, they don't even look like the team the Green Bay Packers beat. The Detroit Lions are starting to look like the doggone Detroit Lions again. Boy, they're looking tough. So, man, I'm telling you guys, I think we got a lot to look forward to. I hope this week is the beginning of the Cowboys' run. They got to go on a run. You want to go to the playoffs? You have got to string together consecutive wins. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. Yeah, James Bowie. That's why I said the Chiefs. Yeah, that's why I got a question mark by the Chiefs, the Lions, and I got a question mark by the Giants because maybe we don't need that game. Maybe we don't need that game. Maybe he lets the backups play a whole half or something. So we'll see what happens. Ryan Hanna said, hey, G, we're going to be at the breaks. Oh, we're going to beat the brakes off the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Man, I do too. If you look at the next 4 games, Broncos, Cardinals, Raiders, Eagles, I think the toughest game in there is the Broncos. You got the Cardinals and the Eagles at home. The Cowboys are not going to be swept by the Eagles. They're beating the Eagles. The Arizona Cardinals are not the Cowboys are going to get revenge on the Arizona Cardinals. The Raiders are a mess. The only one of these next 4 games that should even give the Cowboys any problems, it's the Broncos. They are the best team of the next 4 teams they play. Of those 4 teams, the Cardinals, the Eagles, wins. Raiders, win. The Broncos is going to be the only question mark. But I think we're going to beat them because I think Javonte Williams is about to run all up and down through these boys. Shoot, you watch what I tell you. Too Tall Jones in the building. Let me tell you something. Javonte Williams is going to have, he's going to be running with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to be running with a chip on his shoulder. Ron Hanna said that's possible if the defense can continue to show improvement and get stops. We get stops, we'll be tough. We'll be a tough team to beat. Well, the reason why I think we're going to win the home games is because until somebody shows me different, we've been scoring 40+ points at home. On the road, we've still been able to score minus Chicago. But we should be able to score on the Broncos. We should be able to score on the Raiders. I think Javonte Williams is going to show out against the Broncos. So I think we're going to be able to beat these teams. And it's going to be very interesting to see Brian Schottenheimer go up against Pete Carroll. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Schottenheimer pull everything but the kitchen sink. And I didn't say sink, I said sink. He going to pull everything and the kitchen sink out on Pete Carroll. He going to want to win that game. He going to want to win that game. So I see us, man, these next 5 games, we got to win them. Yeah, Rich Follow, I was going over that earlier. 32 pass attempts, zone 14 times, playing man 18 times, they blitz 15 times. They look pretty good. But again, it dictated that because we were playing against 4th, 5th, and 6th receivers. But it's not like we had it ain't like we had all pros out there either. But again, man, I'm telling us, one game at a time though. Next thing on the list, we have to get the Broncos. We get the Broncos, I think the next 3, we rolling. 5-game win streak, get to the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, see how it turns out. But the Cowboys have been balling at home, and if it continues on, it'll be a shootout. And if it's a shootout, I'm going to take my chances on the Cowboys. Overshown to be back. Maybe we'll have Revel maybe we'll have Revel playing. Maybe that trade that Jerry is going to make. I think Jerry's going to make a trade. I just don't think it's going to be the trade that everybody's wanting. So I think it's going to be good to go. But again, that's going to be it for me. Tomorrow, we are moving on to the Denver Broncos. And for me, man, this is one of the most exciting games we're going to be playing because I want to see what Javonte Williams looks like and does against his former team because I think this man is going to be out for vengeance. But again, hey, y'all tell me what you think. Until the next time. And hold on a second. Christian York, I forgot. Let me read these super chats. Christian York, he told me earlier he was super excited about Overshown return to the team. And then he said a while ago, Super Bowl this year, G, not too far-fetched. DC4L, good night, Cowboys Nation. God bless. Tristan York, if the Cowboys can get this defense fixed, it is the Super Bowl. Because the offense is too potent. It's just too potent. James Bowie, Broncos haven't been looking all that good to me, but that defense is real. And the Cowboys, you watch what I tell you, James Bowie. Don't be surprised. I think the Cowboys gonna put points on them. If Jackson Dart and Scotty Boo put points on them, yeah, I think Dak, CD Pickens, and Javonte Williams, Jake Ferguson, Cavonte Turpin, they putting points on them. Yeah, they putting points on them too. They putting points on them. I believe we're gonna beat the Broncos. I'm calling it now because I'm telling you, this dude Javonte Williams is gonna be running with intention. And I'm telling you, he could be running with bad intentions. Bad intentions against the Broncos. Freddie Morales, my brother. All right, and again, Rick 924 Carroll, he said Broncos win. Yeah, we're going to beat the Broncos. All right, until the next time again, DC4L, God bless. Until next time, let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.